Every major team has that one player who likes problems way too much. And these are the most controversial players from every Valorant Pro team. And we start with Shahzam. His controversy didn't start in Valorant. It followed him from Counter-Strike like a toxic cloud. Back in college, he was just another kid grinding CS, but there was always something off about his attitude. The breakthrough came when his team upset Cloud9, earning him a spot on their roster. He dropped out of college to go pro, but got cut after just 6 months. Here's where it gets dark. During the infamous 2015 iBuyPower match-fixing scandal, Shahzam wasn't just a bystander, he was actively involved. Screenshots revealed him messaging other players before rigged matches, telling them iBuyPower was going to lose intentionally and to enjoy the show. When confronted, he tried spinning it as blackmail, claiming he was forced to stay quiet. But the evidence showed he was enthusiastically participating and profiting from match-fixing information. This revelation explained everything: why teams would sign him, then quickly drop him, why his career became a series of short stints. Nobody wanted someone who'd proven he'd compromise competitive integrity for cash. When Valorant launched, Shahzam saw redemption. He built the first Sentinels roster and showed incredible resilience during his father's death, leading the team to early success. But old habits die hard. The same ego and toxic behavior that plagued his CS career resurfaced. When Sentinels moved on from him, his reaction revealed nothing had really changed underneath. The match-fixing scandal created a permanent shadow over his career. No amount of Valorant success can erase the fact that he was willing to rig professional matches for skins. NRG. Demon 1. 2 years ago, Demon 1 was holding the Champions Trophy, named Tournament MVP and Esports Breakthrough Player of the Year. Today, he's warming benches. How does a world champion become unwanted? The fall started with NRG's role change experiment. They took an aggressive duelist who dominated with evil geniuses and tried forcing him into a supportive role. 6 months isn't enough time to completely rewire your playstyle, especially when your entire career was built on aggressive dueling. NRG crashed and burned, finishing last in their group and missing major tournaments. Instead of admitting the role change was a mistake, they benched their world champion. The community was stunned. How do you justify sidelining the player who was literally the best in the world months earlier? But there were whispers about other issues: team chemistry problems, communication breakdowns, and what insiders called a cliquey culture within NRG. Former coach Chet Singh later dropped bombs about Demon 1's professionalism, claiming he slept during practice sessions multiple times over 2 years. When Demon 1 moved to Leviathan, fans hoped for redemption. Instead, they put him on smokes while moving their smoker to duelist. Despite having the best individual performance on the team, he got benched again. The pattern was clear. Teams signed Demon 1 for his reputation, but can't figure out how to use him. But the most tragic part is that his skill never disappeared. On streams, he still demonstrates world champion mechanics. The problem is organizational. Teams either don't know how to build around his strengths or simply don't want to. When a world champion can't find stability, it suggests deeper problems in the competitive ecosystem. 100 Thieves. Kyedae. Now, Kyedae's controversy started small, but revealed how power dynamics work in content creation. A dispute involving content creator Light Edits and some misogynistic behavior allegations during an online argument should have blown over in days, but Kyedae decided to escalate. As Tenzi's girlfriend and a major content creator, Kyedae wields serious influence. When she speaks, people listen. But instead of keeping gaming drama in the gaming space, she made a decision that shocked everyone. She contacted Light Edit's university to report his behavior. Yeah, a content creator reached out to an educational institution to complain about how someone acted during a Valorant argument. University disciplinary actions can affect financial aid, academic standing, and future careers. Gaming drama suddenly had real-world consequences that could destroy someone's life. The community reaction was brutal. Even people who agreed about misogynistic behavior being a problem were appalled by the escalation. Critics accused Kyedae of weaponizing her platform and privileged position to punish someone who disagreed with her. She later apologized, claiming she never intended to harm anyone. Light Edits accepted the apology and acknowledged things were blown out of proportion. But the precedent was set. Influencers were willing to drag gaming disputes into real institutions with serious consequences. When you have hundreds of thousands of followers, your actions carry weight far beyond what you might intend. Contacting someone's university over gaming drama crosses a line that shouldn't be crossed. Sentinels. Sinatra. Next is Sinatra. He was at his peak when everything collapsed. Former Overwatch MVP, key to Sentinel's early Valorant success, one of the most mechanically gifted players in gaming. Then his ex-girlfriend made sexual assault allegations that effectively ended his career. Cleo Hernandez accused Sinatra of assault, sharing an audio recording she claimed supported her case. The timing was devastating. Sentinels was preparing for a major tournament with Sinatra as a central figure. Overnight, he was suspended and facing career-ending accusations. But here's what most people don't know. The allegations were never proven in court. Riot's investigation suspended him primarily for failing to cooperate, not for definitive findings of guilt. Sinatra claims the audio was from consensual activity that his ex had asked him to record, taken completely out of context. The accuser eventually put the case on hold for mental health reasons. No legal proceedings reached a conclusion. Sinatra was never charged with any crime, but the damage was irreversible. The court of public opinion moves faster than any investigation. So after serving his suspension, Sinatra was technically eligible to return, but no major organization would touch him. The risk of community backlash and sponsor concerns made him radioactive, regardless of skill level or legal status. When he finally spoke out in 2024, Sinatra accused Riot of predetermined conclusions and shared evidence of executive bias during the investigation. His girlfriend Emma revealed that her initial reaction to the allegations had been weaponized against him despite her later support. Sinatra actually gave enough proof to prove himself innocent, but nothing about his situation has changed, which shows how fake allegations ruin players' career with no hope of redemption. Another fake allegation recently showed everyone about Riot's double standard. When Sinatra was accused, Riot did a named post and dropped him from everything and barred him from competing. When the same allegations were raised against Fluorescent, Riot did a vague post and said they were investigating. Entire hordes on Twitter tried defending her and saying, innocent till proven guilty, but the same hordes were slamming Sinatra on the first day of allegations with no proof. Just goes on to show how the community and even Riot has double standards. Team Envy. Yay. Ye was once untouchable. The best player in the world during his peak with Envy and Optic. His mechanical skill was legendary, his clutch factor supernatural. But behind the scenes, teammates and coaches were sharing different stories about his work ethic and attitude. The allegations were serious. Ye didn't practice seriously, refused to cooperate during team activities, and created negative environments. When he moved to Asia, Crazy Guy publicly claimed Ye refused to play ranked or work with team staff. In professional esports, that's like a basketball player refusing to show up to practice. Ye defended himself, explaining he used alternate accounts due to constant region switching between North America and Asia. The ping differences and account logistics made it impractical to maintain consistent ranked statistics. But critics pointed out the issue wasn't about statistics or account management, it was about dedication and team cooperation when it mattered most. But multiple former teammates started speaking out about similar experiences working with him. Some described a player who would coast through practice sessions, seemingly disinterested in team-building exercises and strategic discussions. Leaked audio clips allegedly showed toxic behavior during team communications, with Ye becoming frustrated and dismissive toward teammates who weren't performing at his level. Some defended it as a normal competitive frustration from someone with impossibly high standards. Anyway, the most damaging allegation came later. Claims that Ye offered a coach $10,000 to bench another player he didn't want to work with. If true, this represented manipulation and toxicity that went far beyond practice issues. It suggested someone willing to use financial incentives to control team decisions and eliminate players he saw as obstacles to his success. Now, his career decline seemed to validate the allegations. After his peak period with Optic, both individual performance and team success dropped significantly. Organizations that signed him expecting immediate dominance instead got disappointing results and internal conflicts. His time with Bleed was particularly rough, with the team struggling in major tournaments despite having other talented players. The situation deteriorated until Ye eventually took a health break that became another controversy point, with some questioning whether it was genuine or an excuse to step away from mounting team problems. Fnatic. Alright, this one isn't about a single player, it's about an entire organization that has world-class talent but keeps making decisions that leave everyone scratching their heads. Yep, we're talking about Fnatic. On paper, their roster looks stacked. You've got names like Boaster, Alphager, and Chronicle, some of the best talent Europe has to offer. But the real problem? It's how Fnatic manages that talent. You start to see the cracks when you look at how they've handled player health issues. Take Leo, for example. He was dealing with prolonged health problems, and instead of having a plan in place, Fnatic seemed to scramble at the last minute, making reactive changes that threw off the team's rhythm. And then there's the case of Dirk, a key player for 3 years, whose departure raised more questions than answers. Was it a communication breakdown? A lack of planning? Either way, fans weren't buying the official narrative. That's when the bigger patterns started to emerge. Fnatic keeps building these high-potential rosters, but they can't seem to hold things together. Players arrive with big expectations, only to leave early, often with rumors of internal issues swirling behind the scenes. Coaching changes happen constantly, like full staff resets, making it feel like the organization is just throwing darts in the dark, hoping something sticks. And the changes, they don't always make sense. Moves that look promising on paper end up causing more problems than they fix. It's like they're treating players as interchangeable parts instead of real people trying to build chemistry and careers together. Fans have noticed, and they're frustrated. It doesn't help that, despite having top-tier individual talent, Fnatic consistently underperforms at major events. Meanwhile, other orgs with similar firepower manage to pull off deeper runs, largely because they have stable leadership and a clear vision. So at the end of the day, it's a story of wasted potential. With the right structure and long-term thinking, this could be a championship team. Instead, it feels like they're stuck in a loop of big moves, bigger expectations, and constant disappointment. Just goes to show, talent alone isn't enough. You need the organization to get it right, too. Loud's rise and fall is one of Valorant's most dramatic arcs, and at the center of it all is Aspis, a generational talent, a world champion, and ultimately, a player whose brilliance wasn't enough to save a team undone by its own leadership. Aspis wasn't just Loud's star, he was Loud. His mechanical precision, his clutch plays, his consistency under pressure, they were the backbone of the team's success. He led them to a world championship and earned VCT America's 2023 MVP for a reason. But even while the team was riding high, things behind the scenes were already falling apart. It started with broken promises and signs of mismanagement. Aspis raised concerns about their competitive infrastructure, things like proper prep tools, scrim environments, and support systems. Basic stuff for a world-class team. And despite being the MVP, he ran into resistance when it came to renegotiating salary and securing better terms. Imagine delivering peak performance and still having to fight just to be heard. Then came the real breaking point, the public drama. When Loud's own CEO liked a tweet that painted Aspis as ungrateful for considering a move, fans were stunned. I mean, that was a toxic disconnect between management and their star player. Instead of backing him up or keeping things internal, they let the situation spiral out in front of everyone. So contract talks collapsed. Aspis wanted what any top player would, recognition and fair terms, but Loud seemed more focused on budget control than keeping their MVP happy. Communication broke down so badly that Aspis ended up announcing his departure on social media without even coordinating with the org. And once he left, the decline was immediate. Rather than reinvesting in proven talent, Loud went cheap. They filled his spot with untested players, hoping to replicate success without paying for it. Spoiler, it didn't work. Their performance tanked. At Masters Tokyo 2023, they didn't win a single map. From world champions to early exits, just like that. This final controversy touches on something bigger than any single match or player. It's about opportunity, representation, and whether the global Valorant scene truly offers a level playing field. At the center of it is Scrai, one of India's most well-known Valorant players. Allegations surfaced claiming that T1 declined to sign him specifically because of his nationality. Yeah, because he is Indian. Scrai himself has been candid about the state of the Indian Valorant scene. He's pointed out that many pros in the region haven't reached high ranks like Radiant, which speaks to real developmental hurdles. From that angle, you can understand why top-tier organizations like T1, who need players ready to compete on a global stage right now, might hesitate. The skill gap between regions is real, and it can impact recruitment decisions. But if the reason was nationality alone, that's a whole different issue. If decisions are being made based not on a player's ability, but on where they're from, that's bias, plain and simple. And for a team like T1, which operates on a global stage, that kind of thinking would be a serious problem, especially in a game like Valorant, where international diversity is one of its strengths. But anyway, we're left with this. In professional Valorant, your reputation isn't just built on headshots and clutches. One bad decision, one leaked clip, one organizational mistake can end everything.